So we're going to call the meeting to order, and we're going to state the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge of allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And then, do we have any nominations for acting as chair?
I would
Craig
like
Roberts.
to nominate Craig Roberts, or I second that.
All right.
That constitutes hazing.
One last time.
Okay. Any other nominations? Okay.
Craig, here's a chance.
So,
I don't think he has a second coming.
yeah. So, who wants to motion?
Bob and then Heather.
Bob and Heather. Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
Heather.
I thought I had to do. Okay. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thought I was going to have one.
Thank you, Craig.
All right.
All right, good evening, everyone. First of all, we have, for public hearings, we have none. For the approval of the minutes from the previous meeting, we'll postpone that for both March and April for the next meeting. Next item on the agenda is citizen comments. This is an opportunity for citizens to share their opinions with board members on any topic they choose. However, due to Wisconsin open meeting laws, the board is not able to answer any questions or respond to any comments. All comments should be directed to the board. Comments are limited to 3 minutes per speaker. Speakers are asked to use the podium, state your name and address for the record. So is there anyone on this side who would like to make a comment? Yes, sir.
Good evening. My name is Richard Peterson. I'm resident of Hawthorne Place, 1097 Hawthorne Place, Milwaukee. First of all, I'd like to acknowledge something. First of all, about the minutes. I don't know why that is, but there's a question it raises in my mind about transparency again. Maybe you have a good reason for that, I don't know. But that is one of the issues that is most paramount in my mind, transparency of the board. So that concerns me that those are not being recognized. But my other comments for this evening are, in part, and I have to admit this is a little embarrassing for me because I was trained in the military as a photojournalist, and you're supposed to check your facts. I'm unfortunately not familiar with all of you, and looking at the videos, you can't really read the names in front of each of you. So in emails that I have exchanged with you over the last couple of weeks, most recently today and yesterday, I made a couple of mistakes. First of all, at the last meeting, Ms. Belt, I don't believe you were even here, which is fine.
I was.
But you were?
Yeah, I was.
I'm sorry, another mistake. But I attributed some of my observations to you, and I believe they were correcting them now. They should have gone to Ms. Gergen, okay? So with that said, and Ms. Krasovich is not here, but part of this does apply to her. She responded to one of my emails and called to my attention that I did, in fact, miss that she had voted nay to the motion to discuss a pay raise for all of you. I went back this morning and I re-listened to that video, and I saw very clearly that she did vote nay. I apologize to Ms. Krasovich publicly, which I said to her in an email yesterday that I would do in every conversation that I have, and that's why I'm here, to apologize to her and to you for all misrepresenting that fact. That was an honorable act on her part. and I asked her to please accept my sincere apology. And I'm not sure why or how that happened. It was clear on the video. There must have been something going on that, distracted me. Anyway, she did, in fact, very clearly say nay. The second thing that I'd like to say is that regarding the collapse of the man at the March 5th, 2024 meeting, which occurred right over there, and the gentleman collapsed into my legs and onto my feet, I would like to say that Ms. Krasovich did, in fact, according to her, and I believe her, that she did act. She did not act nonchalantly, as I said in my email. I felt that some of the board members were just chatting among themselves and really unconcerned. It appeared that way. That's all I'm saying. It appeared that way. But she corrected me, and rightfully she did, and I appreciate her doing so. She did call 911 after I yelled, "Call 911," because I knew that he was down and he was in trouble. He was starting to go into seizures, and at that point, the doctor who was attending him said that he didn't feel any pulse and that they needed to apply CPR. So I, again, thank her for calling 911. Mr. Grabowski, I believe this was you. I want to thank you personally for bringing the defibrillator to the doctor on the scene. I believe that was you. I hope I'm not mistaken. Thank you very much for your doing that, for that action. I want to thank Mrs. Gergen. I don't know for sure exactly what part you played, but I do know for a fact that you did move toward the gentleman and toward myself over here. And then, as the doctor and the nurses were attending to him, you did approach. You looked as though you were concerned and that you wanted to help in some way. I appreciate that. Thank you very much for doing that. I presume...
I called 911.
You did?
Yeah.
Oh, well, maybe both of you did. I'm not going to argue that point. But thank you both very much for doing so. I thought, I later on went out that door to try and help the EMTs come in. But I presumed that maybe you went over here and opened the door for the police officers. I'm presuming that because I know you were trying to help. So I want to thank you, the three of you, for the action that you took on the evening of March 5th. You are to be commended for those actions. I'm not going to question what the rest of you were doing or saying, okay? Leave it at that. I finally want to say this. I still am resolute in my call for the Village Board of Trustees to rescind ordinance number 2023-22, as it is very clearly discriminatory towards seniors. Thank you very much.
Is there anyone else on this side that wants to speak? Okay, we'll decide. Anyone over this side that wants to speak?
Hi, I'm Mary Dietz, and I live at 1101 Hawthorne Place. And there's one issue that I wanted to address with you. It's the classification that the consultant put Hawthorne Place in. They grouped, as you know, Hawthorne Place is senior apartments, 55 and over, but it's independent living. Not much different than other apartments in Pewaukee. And they classified our apartments in the same classification as nursing homes, assisted livings, which I think is totally wrong. And the data that he collected was 2020, 2021, and 2022, and I think we can all agree that those were not normal times. That was COVID and pandemic. And all the health data that is coming out now, all the utilization data from the CDC, from the NIH, from hospitalizations, now has an asterisk after those years, saying that data is flawed, that it's not normal data, that not to make any decisions based on those. And I think that's a very big impact on us because it put us in a category. Instead of paying $240 for EMS, we would be paying $1,200. I think it's wrong that you made the decision based on faulty data, is what I'm saying. And I would like you to reconsider our classification. We should be with, with normal apartments, in my opinion. Thank you.
Anyone else on this side?
Zach Stevens from Beach Bum Bakery. I just have a couple of comments in regards to agenda item 8F, the jet ski rental and concession stand. In the paperwork from the applicant, they state that jet skis produce 65 to 80 decibels, and that it's an equivalent to a lawnmower. That's actually the range of a toilet flushing or a vacuum cleaner. Lawnmowers have a range of 80 to 95 decibels, and jet skis can be as loud as 115 decibels. According to the Wisconsin DNR, every 10 decibels increase is 10 times louder. So 70 is 10 times louder than 60. So I encourage the board to review all the numbers in the packet closely. Number 2, the concession stand with profit sharing to the village. As an owner of a quick bites type business that has been working on trying to find items to draw in the younger crowd off the beach, this concerns me. We have been in talks with our building owner, Seatman Realty, about what we plan on offering this summer, which will include hot dogs, hot pockets, soft pretzels, corn dogs, etc. The items you would find in a concession stand. I would like to see the village stand behind its businesses that are here year-round and supporting the community, including supporting community events and community fundraising over a seasonal business. This concession stand would impact our new summer offerings. I would rather see the jet ski rental establishment be just that, jet ski rental and not a food vendor. Thank you.
Anyone else on this side?
Hi, I'm Sarah from Beach Bum. I'm speaking also on agenda item 8F. My main concern is a seasonal business coming in and taking away sales that us year-round businesses rely on to get us through the dead of winter. We aren't just here in the summer for the fun times. We're here all year long, supporting the community, donating to the schools and local sports programs, and volunteering our time at local nonprofits. We rely heavily on our summer months' profits to sustain us through the slow winter months. I'm not saying no to a jet ski rental. I'm just saying to please think about the repercussions that a snack stand would do to our local food establishments down there.
Anyone else on this side? Open up to anyone. All right, we'll close. Citizen comments? Ordinances, we have one. Possible action on ordinance 2024-03, an ordinance establishing the 2024 salary for a municipal judge. Scott?
Yeah, this item returns to the board from the last meeting where direction was given to move forward with an adjustment to the municipal judge salary. So that amount is stated as $15,500 with the effective date of the change being May 1, which is the start of the second year of the term, as you cannot adjust the term during the first year, or the salary during the first year of a term for a municipal judge.
Comments, questions?
I think as we discussed at the meeting last time, the judge not only provides a great service to the community by being a judge, but also does things outside of her responsibilities at the school and in other charitable organizations within the community. And the move to give her a raise makes her competitive, makes us competitive with other communities of similar size. So the raise up to $15,500 a year is justified in my mind.
I agree. And then with the amount, this I don't believe this brings her up to $10 a case, even with the case load that she's been having. So I think it's a reasonable increase, and we do want to keep her working as a judge.
My caseload, she's still underpaid.
Exactly. Yes.
If you don't have anything, I'll make a motion on it.
No, I'm good with it.
I'll make a motion to approve ordinance 2024-03, establishing the 2024 salary.
Second, Gergen.
Right, we have a motion and a second. Any other comments? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Passed. All right. Number 6, resolutions. We have 2 of them. The first is possible action on Resolution 2024-06, interim financing, comfort resolution PFAS treatment at well number 6.
Yeah, this coincides with the work that the village has retained Rooker and Milkie to assist on with the temporary PFAS treatment for well number 6. Last fall, I worked with them to submit an intent to apply for a safe drinking water loan program, so this resolution would follow up as the board's concurrence and agreement to proceed with potential application for a safe drinking water loan program. And as they note in the resolution, the amount would be not to exceed $890,202 at this time. So be looking for board approval of the resolution.
I'll make a motion to approve resolution number 2024-06 for interim financing comfort resolution for PFAS treatment at well number 6.
All right, we have a motion and a second. Any other comments? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Resolution 2024-06 passes. Second resolution is possible action on resolution 2024-07, resolution accepting dedication of the public improvements of Waterstone Court and Oxbow Court as part of the Riverside Preserve subdivision.
So this is related to the infrastructure work related to the Riverside Preserve subdivision, relating to water, sanitary sewer, stormwater. The infrastructure has been installed, inspected, and deemed acceptable by the Director of Public Works and our consultant engineer for the village board to accept the public dedication of that. As part of the project moving forward, we will retain 20% of the cost of the infrastructure as a for a one-year period as a guarantee of the work, which is consistent with past subdivision dedication of public improvements. So you've got supporting documentation in the packet completed by Dave Beek, our Public Works Director, as well as the developer and their contractor, noting the satisfaction of the work.
And again, been a long road for this process. Again, you do mention here that the several punch list items are there, and you're confident that the 20% that's being retained is going to be enough motivation to finish the punch list items?
Yeah, it's a substantial amount of money, and there still is the sidewalk that is yet to be completed. That's part of the retainage that will be held for the area on Ridgeway Drive as well. So based on cost of the letter of credit, that those costs that were factored into that, I think we're confident that the work, the retainage on the letter of credit will be sufficient to draw upon, worst case, if we do need to.
And we have no concerns over quality of work that's been completed or anything?
I don't have any concerns. I did walk. And the contract.
Yeah, sanitary sewers were televised, so we do have documentation. And looking at Dave's punch list that he put together with R.A. Smith, it was very extensive and it was addressed.
Yeah.
Any questions? Comments? Motion?
I'd like to make a motion for the village board to approve a resolution to approve the dedication of public sanitary sewer and water main for Riverside Preserve.
All right, we have a motion and a second. Any other comments? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Resolution 2024-07 passes. Old business, update, discussion regarding strategic plan update, community survey. That would be me. Really just want to keep the board up to date on where we're at. The survey has been completed, and Cassie did get it posted on our community page for the website. We'll be driving respondents as we do the communications there. We feel that by having the link on the website just adds legitimacy to the survey so people realize it's really us who's asking for it. As far as the data sources, between Scott and Cassie, we secured the 3 lists, and I don't believe those lists cost us anything, correct? Nope. So we got all 3 lists for free, which is good. The 3 lists, one is real property tax rolls. There were 3,056 records. Personal property tax rolls, and this would be for businesses that rent. So that would be the Beach Bum Bakery, so that they would be part of this as well as Seaman. Registered voters, there's 5,064 records, and when we got the list, found that 2,160 of them had an email attached. So that's great. As far as the data prep, took the registration voter list, submitted to third-party source to add more emails. We got 1,400 additional, so that means we have emails for 3,570 out of the 5,064 registered voters. So that's very good. Then after we did the merge purge and the of all of the lists, we came up with unique records for postal purposes, 4,049. So it's pretty solid in terms of the data we're working with. For the communications, the postcard actually today got submitted for printing, even though we have to fill some paperwork with the printer, with a customer of theirs. The planned drop would be at the post office would be Monday, April 1st, just trying to get past Easter and Good Friday and people taking off. So what it should mean is that it should arrive in mailboxes about a week. We're going to use pre-sort standard, or what most people refer to as bulk mail, for the lowest possible postage rate. The fact that 90-some% of them are all 5072 zip means we give all the biz a 5-digit discount. So the postage is probably going to be between 28 and 30 cents a piece, somewhere in that range. For emails, we'll plan on doing 2. One timing it with the delivery of the postcard, the second one about a week later. Working with Cassie, we'll put a call out in the utility insert. Again, just going to all the property owners. And then we started collecting information on neighborhood-based social media groups. We've identified 4 or 5 of these, and if anyone has one in your neighborhood or a watch group that has one, please let us know. Right now, we're estimating that for the ones that we know and we can do the reach out, we're talking about 700 or 800 households. And so just feel like having those 4 different channels of communication, a lot of redundancy, which is good. We should have a fairly good reach with that plan. As far as costs, the postcard, for print and mail processing, $900 plus the postage. We're estimating that would be about $2,250. The email cost in total will be about $250. So all said and done, the cost is $2,500. So definitely below the budgeted amount for that. Timeline is we're looking for the survey to close on April 30th. We'll then pull the data, begin the analysis. We will look to present findings end of May, early June, somewhere in that time frame. And then at that point, we can schedule work group sessions either end of June or early July, to begin building out the plan. So those other things are moving along, and like I said, next week or so, we should start having a communication push. Questions? April 30th.
And did you say the link is already on the website? Where? I'm
The
looking.
Our community. It's our community.
You might want to actually link it off the front page. Seems kind of
Orange
hidden.
box, I think when we do the communication, when we start pushing that out there directly, we can also add that.
We just didn't do that yet.
Right, it's not current, so yeah, we can add that in once we start.
Great.
communication.
Right?
Thank you, Craig. Appreciate all your efforts.
Sure. The fun stuff. This isn't. That is. Next item. New business. Discussion and possible action on Positively Pewaukee special event permits for 2024.
You have in your packet the 2024 special event permits for Positively Pewaukee, which are for their Welcome Waves kickoff event to Waterfront Wednesdays, the annual Waterfront Wednesday concert series, the Grillin' and Chillin' event, which is year number 2, I believe, of that one. Halloween Fun Fest, Family Fun Fest, and then coming back in a lighter version is Taste on the Lake. It's a condensed version of Taste of Lake Country, one-day event. These have gone through review with department heads and Park and Rec board or staff where appropriate, and come to the village board with a recommendation for consideration of approval by the village board.
Are there any changes? I mean, obviously, Taste on the Lake is a new one this year, but is there any changes to any of the other ones on the application side?
The Family Fun Fest, I believe that's up at Agape, but in terms of the Grilling and Chilling, Waterfront Wednesday, Welcome Waves, those are all the same as is Halloween Fun Fest, I believe.
Yep.
They're presented as one agenda item, so I think one approval is fine. I do know that Scott has conditions in the staff report.
Yes.
Okay, so I would just make those as part of the motion, though.
Now, one of the things that we had discussed at one of the previous meeting were fees when we're using DPW to set up barricades and things like that. Is that incorporated in this?
Did we?
Didn't we adjust that?
Oh, no.
Already? Wasn't that in?
It just started this year. So
whatever
this is
percentage
the
would apply
old,
here.
this is the old form, so I'll have to look, but if there is barricades, we'll
I'll pay you
work
more
with
money.
Yeah, I think you did, but I don't want to say it without knowing for sure.
I just noticed it wasn't listed here with all the other things, and
On the top of the Taste on the Lake application, it says road closed $300. I think
Okay,
that's
yeah,
what that
so we
note
did do
says.
that.
Yeah.
Okay.
okay. Any questions, discussion?
Did you bring back a version of the Taste? Looking forward to that.
Yeah.
Should be fun. You guys want to volunteer? Let me know. I'll take you.
I'll make a motion to approve Positive Pewaukee 2024 special event permit applications.
Second, Gergen.
Do we have to mention the conditions? I would just mention, yeah. You don't have to list them one by one, but at least reference the,
With staff conditions.
thank you.
And second.
We have a motion and a second. Any other discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Great. Thank you, guys.
Action on Village Park improvements related to Ball Diamond 2 fencing bids. Who's handling that?
You want me to kick that off, Bob? or-
If you want to kick it off, and then I'll add.
The fencing is an item that was before the village board, I forget if it was earlier this year or last fall, with regard to looking at the replacements of the infield fence and backstop areas, looking at a split of using Lehman Park fund balance as well as the park improvement funds. This coincides with the Pewaukee Youth Baseball donation for a scoreboard. Bids were solicited by Nick, with the low bid coming in at $28,497, which includes a 15% contingency, with the low bidder being Century Fence. So it'd be a split of $15,000 from the park improvement funds, which is $29,000 in that at this point, before the use of the $15,000, and then the balance of the $13,500 coming from the Lehman Park fund balance, which setting aside $90,000 for the balcony project, which is in process, and then about $49,000 of funds to be used from fund balance budgeted for this year. There's approximately $156,000 in the Lehman fund. So there's sufficient funds to go towards the completion of the fencing project at Village Park.
I will add to that also that the bids we received actually ended up, for the total project, ended up being $12,000 less than what we originally presented in January. So we were happy to see that. And adding to Scott's remarks, when it comes to the Lehman Fund, even after the expenditures that we're talking about here, and after paying for the balcony and deck work that's going to be done, it still will give us over 3+ years of mortgage payments, pilot payments, in the fund. So that's always been our goal, to have 2 or 3 years worth of those payments on hand in case we hit the worst summer of the year. None of this money, there is no money included from the revenue we're going to be receiving this year at Lehman.
I was happy to see it coming under budget. I think it's a great improvement at the Village Park, especially partnering with PYB. No issue.
Yeah, and I probably should mention our effort always to partner with organizations. You've got PYB, who last year gave over $60,000 for the lights on the front softball diamond and electrical. You've got the Kiwanis, who are part of the naming, have that was a $125,000 donation used for playground. Also donated a large amount of money for the hardball diamond. So the partnership has paid for a lot of the improvements that we're doing here. And we always look for those things. Nick and team does an excellent job of doing that. So we try to make sure that we're not affecting any type of taxes or rates or anything like that. It's being paid for by partner clubs, and then we're also paying it out of revenue that we have for the Lehman Fund and the Village Improvement Fund.
I think it's also great, I know it's numbers driven, but that we're using a village-based business to actually do the thing.
Yeah.
Any other comments, questions? Otherwise, I'll entertain a motion.
Make a motion to approve the bid from Century Fence for replacement of the Kiwanis Village Park Diamond 2 infield and backstop fence for the amount of $28,497.
Motion and a second. Any other comments? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
The second part of this information has to do with the work that's going to be done replacing the surface for the basketball court, the asphalt basketball court, and then also the adjacent catch basin, replacing that with asphalt. And the lowest bid we received was from PLM, local firm again, in the amount of $31,947. The nice thing about all of this work, it's quite possible this could all be done this spring. Now, we are obviously going to avoid Memorial Day. We don't want to affect anything having to do with that. But it's very possible that this work could be done prior or you know, in a little bit after that, so.
I do have a question on, now, it 100% has to be done, but the basketball court is a safety hazard, and so is that kind of place, and seeing multiple kids trip over it. Do we have it to restripe the basketball court? Or it's maybe-
It will be restriped when it's done, yes.
Because I didn't see it listed anywhere, I just wanted to make
Yeah,
sure.
yeah.
It's anything held up.
Mhm.
So it does say grading, so it'll make it so that the water isn't like
Yeah,
standing
yeah.
in there anymore.
I'll make a motion to approve the PLM bid for repavement of the basketball court.
Second, Gergen.
All right, motion and second. Any other comments? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Next item 8D, discussion and possible action on diesel tank replacement for lift station 1 generator. Dave?
So lift station 1 is located at 1205 East Wisconsin Avenue. That has a diesel powered generator to supply backup power to the pump station during power outages. The tank is tested weekly because it's so critical to make sure that it's running when we do have power outages. This lift station pumps all the sewage from the village. It also collects sewage from LPSD and some areas of the city of Pewaukee to the city of Brookfield. The existing concrete vaulted diesel storage tank is over 30 years old. The exact age is unknown, but it needs to be replaced. When this was originally purchased, it was a very high quality diesel tank. This has been planned for in the budget with an allocation of $60,000. The action requested of the village board is to approve the proposal from Energy Tech Services attached to the packet for $48,489 to replace the existing diesel tank. Village staff have been working with a vendor since May of 2023 to identify the specialized scope of services to remove the existing tank, replace with a white 2,000-gallon diesel fuel tank, piping, fuel level monitoring, and leak detection system. Also, the installation services needed by an electrician to make connections to the existing electric console within the building. And during this process, utilize a backup tank, which needs to be in place while the installation is being completed. The scope of services is listed in the packet by Energy Tech, formerly U.S. Petroleum. And it's for the $48,489, which is, again, is under the budget of $60,000. This vendor has been used in the past to successfully complete other projects in the village, and that was removing the existing diesel tank at the DPW building. These tanks are built to order, and the lead time is approximately 16 weeks to build it. I've worked with, I've talked this over with the vendor, and we feel confident that this scope of service and the new tank will address the village's needs. So I recommend approval. I recommend that the village board authorize staff to approve the contract for $48,489. There is an existing agreement between the village of Pewaukee and the Lake Pewaukee Sanitary District stating that costs need to be prorated according to the agreement. There will also be some costs to the city of Pewaukee.
Every one of these, 18% under what we budgeted.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice.
Any questions, comments?
I'll make a motion to approve the replacement of diesel tank at lift station 1 for $48,489 with Energy Tech Services.
Second, Rhodey.
Motion and a second. Any other comments? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? freezes up. All right, next item is 8E, discussion of possible action on award of contract for 200,000 gallon spheroid. Is that how you say it? I didn't know that was a word. Tank repainting and repair project at 1010 Quinlan Drive. This is big.
So this water tower repainting project was, 1010 Quinlan was bid out by Dixon Engineering, and it was also publicly advertised. 7 bids were received, as shown on the attached bid summary. The project includes exterior repaint of the 200,000 gallon spheroid with containment, wet interior repaint, dry interior partial repaint, and other miscellaneous work. The initial budget allocation was $480,000 for this work. The action requested of the village board is to approve the bid from the lowest qualified bidder, O&J Coatings Incorporated of Hearst, Texas, for the bid amount of $295,000. The bid from O&J Coatings was not the overall lowest bid, which the lowest bid was E&L Painting for $294,000. The contractor's base bids are all listed in the packet. So, and this does not happen very often, but although E&L Painting was the low bidder, this contractor was not a qualified bidder by Dixon Engineering due to several factors, being past poor performance, going past completion deadlines, debris left in the water tower and having to redrain the water tower, and not having a project manager who communicate with Dixon Engineering. For those reasons, I recommend that the village board authorize staff to enter into a contract with O&J Coatings of Hearst, Texas for $295,000, which also aligns with the recommendation from Dixon Engineering. O&J Coatings is a pre-qualified contractor with Dixon and in good standing. Again, the low bid is below the initial budget allocation of $480,000. If the village desires the words Village of Pewaukee be painted on the water tower, then we did get a mandatory alternate bid price for an additional $5,000. So the bid price would be $300,000, the total bid price. Mandatory alternate 1 and 3 are not needed at this time. Those were used just to get an estimate of cost if that work is needed. So this contract, the contractors are ready to start on this project. It's slated to be able to begin already right now. After April 15th, with a substantial completion by June 14th, and the tank cannot be out of service more than 40 days.
So this came in 180,000 under budget. It's great. Yeah, I think it would make sense for us to have a Village of Pewaukee on this side of the water tower. So I am in favor of that. Would that be with our logo or just what?
That would just be the words Village of Pewaukee. We didn't get a price for the logo.
Would we be able to see how it would look beforehand, like what font would be used or anything like that? So that we're all on board with that?
We could do that.
And I would imagine if the board would want to go the direction of the logo, we can always, if there's additional cost, we could always supplement, support that as well.
Yeah. So, I'm sorry, were you going to say something? No.
Okay. Yeah, I was just going to voice it. It will be the largest billboard we have. Right next to Highway 16, and thousands of cars a day. I don't know how many in a week, but yeah, we should spend the money to put that billboard up.
Yeah. So so we could approve this and ask to find out about how much it would cost to put the logo on it.
Sure.
Not sure how quickly, probably the more important part is the actual work and then supplemental for the logo, but we can certainly try and have that information to bring back for the next board meeting.
So would you suggest we approve the 295 and pull off on the?
I say we just approve of 300,000 and maybe say instead of lettering, could we get logo? And if
Yeah.
it's something different, then we can say the overage has to come back.
What works better?
Jim's process works fine.
Yeah, that's fair.
Okay. I'll make that motion.
The motion is what Jim said.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, we have a motion and a second for the selection of OJ Coatings for 300,000, correct?
Yes.
Water tower. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right. Eight F, discussion and possible action on recommendation from Joint Park and Rec Board regarding jet ski rental, concession stand rental at Lakefront Park. Who's going to start this? Scott or?
Yeah, so this has actually been a 2-month project over 2 meetings. I want to introduce Lath to the group who appeared in front of the Park and Rec Board. And he will explain his program. And so it's Lath and, thank you.
He's the big brain. How you guys doing? My name's Dave. So I came up to the proposal like a couple months ago with Nick, and we gave a proposal for jet ski rentals. We were going back and forth where we wanted to operate, and then working with the water ski club, we came to decide that we want to do a sharing of the building where they would occupy the building Wednesday from 5 o'clock, 4:30 on. So that way we work with them. And then also, I don't know, do you guys have any questions? I mean, it runs down the whole business on a piece of paper.
Yeah, I should also explain, so part of the process that they went through is obviously Positively Pewaukee's in there one day for Waterfront Wednesdays. You've got the ski club that's there 2 days later, one for practice, one for the regular show. All of those things have been taken into account as far as they will have things out of the water and out of the way whenever those events are taking place. There will be a lot of work that would take place between the Parks Department in coordinating and making sure that everything runs smoothly. But they have changed and gone back and forth on their plan based off of some of the needs that we'd asked for. I should also mention, so as part of the contract, they're talking about renting the beachfront building, essentially using that as your office, first of all, for your rental business, but also since you're going to be there all day, you were talking about doing concessions also.
Right.
Talking about it, they would be paying $65 a day for full days, rain or shine. Okay, considerably more than we've gotten from the last 2 people that have rented that business. I think they have mentioned, or they have a willingness to be flexible in regard to their offerings, I think. So if you want to talk about the actual ski rental or your concessions, because I know there are concerns about that.
So yeah, mentioning the concessions, I'm gonna have him talk about it. So for the concessions, he filled me in. I was a little late. I was stuck in traffic. But anyways, for the concessions, it's not really the main part of the whole business. We're coming into Pewaukee to add to the community rather than take away from another business. Our concessions are just there in case someone does want to purchase from us, but it's not the main aspect. The main aspect is obviously the jet skis and the rentals and, you know, bringing a sense of joy and fun to the community. Concessions is just there as an add-on. So obviously I wasn't here when I think it was the other business that talked about it. We're willing to work with, if like the other business is wanting to serve certain foods, we're willing to take those off our menu. For me, in general, I want to make like more unique concessions. We were talking about just like simple things. We don't want to do a whole, you know, buffet of things. So we'll cooperate with the other businesses, see what they want to serve, and we'll serve something else. And like I said, concessions are just there to be there, but the main aspect of this whole project is the jet skis. It's not the food. But if there's any other questions or concerns, just let us know.
The other thing that was, you know, as part of the discussions too, is where do you take the business after this? And the Park and Rec Board was very specific in saying, look, we have limited space down there, okay? We don't see the growth as far as the number of jet skis increasing in the future. Just don't have the space. We felt the 2 jet skis, and then they've got one that staff's going to have for emergency use. That would be rented out. So 2 jet skis.
But there'll really be 3 down there.
There'll be, but the third one is going to be staff's.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it'll be me and him with the jet skis, and our third partner will be more with the concessions and the safety, but we all do it together hand in hand.
Well, I guess I'll start off from our side. And I first want to applaud you guys on the entrepreneurial aspect of it. With that being said, I'm going to take you guys into a little glimpse of my former life. I used to live down in the Keys, shoulder length hair, and ran a location for one of the largest jet ski rental businesses in Florida. Believe it or not, this is a true story. So I'm very well versed in this. I pretty much have a doctoral. I pretty much have a doctoral degree in jet ski rental. Again, applaud you guys because I know what the dollars are in terms of jet ski summer rentals. However, with that being said, I also know the pitfalls and the negative side of this business. My first action on the board when I got elected 2 years ago was to increase the safety down by the beach and get the speed humps put in. And I've made it an agenda item to continually worry about the safety down on our lakefront and our beach. We did not have a day go by in South Florida. Now granted, we had 70-some skis, but we did not have a day go by that we did not have an accident. And that is not just on our tours where we had guides out there with them. That was also in the individual ride area where they were able to take it on their own. And that's on an ocean. That's on the Gulf side. It is in a large, massive body of water. They are not intuitive to control. If you've ever ridden one before, there are no brakes. I have to take it back. The new ones have brakes. People don't understand there's no steering if they let off the hand or if they let off the throttle. They're not the easiest to maneuver in close quarters. We spend money to get a transient dock down there to increase the level of boat traffic down there. I can tell you with 100% certainty, if there are rental jet skis at that dock, my boat will not be anywhere near. There was constant, with immediate instruction from me to Craig that they couldn't comprehend, and whiskey throttle, grab it and go. There's been countless numbers of injuries, and I know you guys are working on getting the insurance and all that. There was not a week that went by that the owner of my company did not have a lawsuit in the mail. Okay, so we have paddleboard rentals right 3 doors spots down from there. They do paddleboard yoga. We have water ski shows. We have everything else. We have a swim area. We have a no wake surrounding that doesn't get enforced enough right now as is, being the board liaison for the lake patrol. Well, I can, and this is nothing personal against you, this is my experience with the industry, and an intimate experience with the industry. 100% unequivocally say, we do not support this business down there. I think it's terrible for our lakefront, I think it's terrible for our community, I think it's terrible for that location. This is a small, narrow body of water down on that end. And these are unpredictable motorcycles on the water. And we are going to put them near, you had concerns about regarding the swim area location in terms of boats backing up. I can show you a picture from 2 years ago of the boat rental where the person came back coming into the dock that wiped out our fuel dock. You saw that on Park and Rec, because I'm sure a new one had to be approved. That's a boat. That's somebody instructing them. I know, yes, under 21, you have to take a boater safety course. I administered those down in Florida as well. It's a book. If you through 10 minutes later, they take a written test. It doesn't take a rocket scientist to pass it. Just because you regurgitate what's in the book to the test does not mean you know what to do when a boat is crossing in front of you. I boat on that lake every other day of that year. Coach water skiing on that lake. I know another trustee's on that lake probably just as much as I am. This is not the location for jet skis. It is a very busy area. We have people launching kayaks from the lakefront park as well. We have people launching paddle boards. We have kids swimming. We have a dam. We're going to put people that have possibly never been on the water on a motorized vessel. There's no way in hell, pardon my language, I can support this at this location. Love the industry, nothing against you guys, and there are right places for it, but it's not here.
Okay, so please mention the fact that you're not new to this rodeo. Your family is in this business.
So was I, Bob.
Yeah, I know. But so again, Jim, we're talking about docking these over on the ski club pier, okay,
100%.
on the far corner.
Yep.
All right, and we're also talking about working with the patrol, the lake patrol, on all this. Okay, we're talking about 2 jet skis.
Okay, Bob. Last week, the company that I used to work for, they sold their business 3 years ago. The company that bought it, last week, 2 jet skis out in the ride area. One rider killed a 27-year-old man down in Key West. 2 weeks ago. 2 jet skis. 1 accident, 1 death. So again, we deferred to Ed every time there was a question about HVAC because he worked in the business. For some reason, you're not taking with credibility what I'm saying. This was my job from 6 a.m. to 10 p.m. every day while living in paradise. I had to have concerns for people's lives that didn't have any concerns for themselves, because once they hit that start button, it didn't matter how much coaching you gave them. We used to school them. I had a full 20-minute speech on the dock going through every feature of that vessel. And we had an accident almost every day. Be it hitting each other, or hitting a dock, or hitting something in the water. Again, this is nothing personal against them. There are places for this business, but the location down in that cove of the lake is not the right fit in my eyes. I'm speaking for myself. You can discredit it, my opinion, if you want, but 100%, I am not voting for this. It's a safety issue. It's a safety concern. Bates, oh God, what the hell's the name of it now? I apologize for my language. But the boat ride.
Beachside Boat and Bait.
Beachside, thank you. He used to do jet skis. There's a reason he doesn't do them anymore. He used to do jet skis out on this lake. He would trailer here, rent out, and trailer away, just like this. There's a reason he's not doing it anymore. So, you got, I'm one vote. This is, in discredit, whatever I'm saying you want, but I lived this. This was my life. They may have too, but I also lived this, so you have to take it as a credible source.
So it's up to you to defend
for sure.
the business model now.
First of all, I appreciate your honesty and all of that, and you just gave me an insight on things I didn't previously consider, which we have considered safety, and that is obviously the main concern with jet skis. But with that being said, on the lake, regardless of what lake you're on and regardless of how many vehicles, there are rules in place. One of the main rules is a certain distance between vehicle to vehicle. That has to be there, or else the patrol or us would have to stop that person. And like you said, if the concern is accidents, if we notice that, say, for example, you two are riding and you got too close to him or you got too close to another boat, we'll make it very clear that if you do violate the rules, you're off the jet ski, no matter whether you just started or you're finishing. Those things can be, obviously, accidents do happen. That's regardless of what you're riding, what you're doing, things happen. But how you enforce the rules and how you go about preparing for those accidents or preventing them is up to the people that run the business. We are very good at what we do. We're very good at speaking to people and teaching, and we're very aware of the risk to reward ratio. But we're also very confident in our ability to handle situations and make sure people stay in their lane, and metaphorically, obviously, stay in their lane and know what they're doing. And if we notice that someone doesn't seem mature enough to handle a motorized vehicle, because obviously, like you said, the license to get that vehicle is it's very easy, anyone can do it. But if it comes down to our judgment, if we notice that, oh yeah, you took the vehicle, but you seem a little too immature, or that you're gonna go off of what we said and just do your own thing, then that's on us to make the call and say, I'm sorry, but you're not, right.
Again, this is not a knock on you guys.
No, I understand.
You're not on the jet ski. This is no different than, I had a gentleman following me, I was leading him to the riding area, everything was great, he takes a 90-degree turn and runs straight into a seawall.
Okay.
And we're taking him on in an ambulance. I gave him the greatest coaching in the world. He was riding fine. In a split second, he takes a right and runs into a seawall. What's the difference of taking a hard right and running into the swim area? And there's a difference between this and a private party that launches or lives on the lake. This is now an approved liability by Park and Rec in the village. You are now using our location. This isn't you left your buddy's house and ran into a dock. This is now, we approve this business. And great, I love insurance and all that, but man, you couldn't. I wouldn't even, if you put a gun to my head, I wouldn't get back in this business from the stuff that I've seen.
That's fine. And as you were just speaking, I'm a quick thinker. I like to come up with solutions right away. For people that are not experienced with jet skis, are not experienced with how to handle one, again, I just came up with this, so tell me if it's a bad idea. But I say, say you're a new jet ski rider and you want to rent it. The first time of renting it, you would ride behind me. You would.
But that's what I was just saying. That's all you pretty much deal with. Don't get me wrong, down in Key West, we had a fair amount.
No, I'm saying they ride on the jet ski with me.
But again, they're not you.
Yeah.
Once they get on there, when they grab that throttle, everyone else gets their own boat. It's fine. But I'm telling you from experience, this is not the location for this. 100% is not.
I'll interject. I don't have the experience or the obvious passion that Jim has over this, but I'm on board with Jim. Living on the lake, I see the lake activity. I see the rental boats out there. I see the lack of knowledge on how to operate a boat. I see the lack of not understanding the safety. Me, myself, has almost had an encounter with one of the rental boats going between our ski boat and my daughter on a tube because they had no idea where they were in the lake or what. They don't understand the distance, the concepts. I'm not saying everybody, it's generalization, but to the point, this side of the lake is so busy. And I live on this side of the lake, so I see it. The paddle boards that are out there, it's dangerous with them. I can argue, I wouldn't mind having a discussion about placing some restrictions on where the paddle boarders go for safety concerns, because they go out into the middle of the lake and they lay flat on their paddle boards at 3 o'clock on a Saturday afternoon, and you can't see them when you're in your boat. So safety concerns there. There is, again, the rental boats. We have the beach right there. We have restrictive lakefront. We have the issue too of the lake gets extremely weedy. The weeds come this way. These are intake vessels. The weeds get sucked up in there, and you have someone out there in the middle of the lake that's stranded because they can't understand that the reason their jet ski isn't working is because there's weeds and muck clogged up in there. I just think it's too much, pretty much too much activity down there on the lake, and to me, it's a huge safety concern. Jet skis already, in general, I think are kind of a hazard on the lake. I'm not saying we get rid of them, they're fun, I love them, don't get me wrong, but there's just too much going on out there, particularly on the weekends. The lake is already so crowded. So I am going to be an adamant no vote on this one. Too. Nothing against you guys. I think I do. You're obviously young and you want to do something entrepreneurial, and I do not want to discount. I really don't want to discount that, but I don't think our lakefront, with how busy and how small it is, with the launch there and everything, that this is the appropriate location for it.
I think that Jim and Kelly have made some really good points. Initially, I thought this would be a good fit for down there, but I do recognize the safety concerns, and so I would be against this at this point.
I want to add one other perspective. In the packet, it indicates that this would still have to go to the planning commission, correct? From a land use perspective?
Right.
If the concurrence were from the board and the board.
To approve the use here.
So just to give people perspective, a little bit of history too, is that there have been, and I've been on the planning commission for 12 years, there have been a lot of vendors that have come forward wanting to use the lakefront. And obviously, in the summertime, it draws a lot of people. And frankly, the plan, you can back me up, you've been on it for a while, but I cannot think of a single time that the planning commission has approved a transient vendor to use the lakefront. Two reasons why they've basically been told no. One always deals with parking, because of course the downtown is always a parking issue down there. Because for our brick and mortar businesses, we require them to run a business, you have to allocate so much for parking, not public parking, but your own parking. And obviously for a transient vendor, it's impossible to do that. But the other one, typically goes to the fact that it's either in the avenue of showing support for our existing brick and mortar businesses, so we don't compete, but it also we had some that literally there was no benefit to the village. This one, at least, we have a proposal where we do get some revenue, we do benefit from that, so that helps to, kind of mitigate it. But I just want to let everyone know that that if the votes were there to go forward, that's still going to be a hurdle, because while there's a lot of new people on the planning commission that don't have that history, we always try to be very consistent in that if we're going to reject transient vendors from doing business on the lakefront, that unless there's a compelling reason to change course, we've been pretty consistent in that. But of course, I don't know if it'll get there or not. The one question I do have, though, and I don't know if you can answer it or Bob, you can, but when you're talking about sharing profit, is the profit based on, like, at the end of the season, when you're all done, you tally it up and there's one check handed over, or is it monthly or weekly? I mean, how do you calculate it? Because I recognize that in any business, especially one like this, you have a lot of fixed costs, and then you have some variable costs.
Yeah.
And on some days, when it's a cold, rainy day, you don't make any profit. Other days, you're making bank. And so I guess what I'm trying to understand is, when you're doing the calculation of profit, how is that going to be determined in terms of?
It's basically on a monthly pay. So whatever the revenue is, we'll deduct our fixed costs and variable costs, and then whatever that profit is, you get your portion, we get our portion every month.
So it's a monthly arrangement.
Simple, yeah.
Makes sense. It makes sense, but I just want to make sure we were clear on that as well. So.
And about the concerns for the safety, I get you guys are very passionate about the safety of your people, and obviously we're here to add on to that. We want to make your community our community. So we wouldn't recommend something if we didn't know we could handle the stresses and the factors and the variables that come with it. And I get your experience. You have a lot more experience than me. I hope to continue my experiences in this field. But I also know that we are hungry, we are passionate, and we are willing to figure out a way to make this happen where it's not a huge safety concern, to where it benefits you guys more than it puts the community at risk. So if anyone is willing, if we are willing to have another meeting, and or if we could do it right now, whatever works.
And like I said, this is nothing personal. with
No,
you
yeah,
guys.
of course.
And I, again, applaud the entrepreneurship, and I do know that there's a lot of money in this business. Because I saw it every day when I would reconcile my books. It's very profitable after you fix, if you know how to fix your own skis, because they're not gonna last very long in rentals. I mean, realistically, my recommendation would be to start as a mobile operation and do it on a as-call basis, and then we could deliver everywhere to Lake Country and rent them out, and boom, you'll be killing it. As a standalone business down on the lakefront, I can't support that. I just, that's every trip will be starting and stopping from that public dock, which then basically doesn't make it public anymore because, you know, is our 20% also after if they hit someone else's boat coming into the dock? Because again, you're not on ski, and most of the accidents occur coming in or leaving the dock. And they never realize that the rear end swings or something. So when you damage someone's boat, does that eat out the 20% we're getting? It's those little things, that those costs, that it's a very congested area that are just going to eat this opportunity alive. And like I said, I'm not trying to discourage you from doing this. I think it's awesome. I applaud you for it. I looked at your Instagram page. Like, I know you guys have a passion for this, 100%. I just don't feel this location is in any way right for this full-time business. That's my view.
Okay, but when you talk about safety, right? What about the kayaks? You're talking about small little kayaks that you can barely see people on boats. How's that a concern of safety for you when you talk about that?
Because they can't run over a small child.
I mean, how can you say that? A boat's huge. You might not have the line of view like a.
You're talking about renting kayaks?
No, I'm talking about the boat rentals that you guys have on the lake. It's
They
just
ran pontoons.
same. Okay, running off the same thing,
Yeah,
pontoons.
and they ran it into the fuel dock at full speed. When they were coming in the dock, and they went to bump it forward and mash the throttle and wreck the whole fuel dock.
And you could say that's a worse outcome than a jet ski can do, correct? Because it is bigger, it can cause more damage. Yet the business is still there.
I mean, permanent, remote location that isn't using a public dock to operate.
Okay.
Is there any other, like,
It's all public. It's all public.
I get the frustration with me. That's
No, it's
fine.
not frustration. I'm just saying.
I did boat rentals.
No,
You wanna go
yeah.
on that one?
No, I mean, I did.
I could sit up here for 3 hours.
I could tell you the same thing. I mean, we did it on Oak Creek, my cousins.
Could we call a vote?
Yeah, I'll make a motion to reject,
It's a rip.
8F,
I didn't even get to talk.
recommendation from Joint Park and Rec regarding jet ski rentals at Lakefront.
Second.
So just to be clear, because usually it's unusual for us to have a proposal.
Denial.
Denial. Denial. So a vote, I vote would be to support the rejection, and a vote is to support the proposal. So I just want to make sure we're all clear on that. So we have a motion and a second. Any other discussion? Yeah, let's do a roll call.
Trustee Gergen,
Yes.
Trustee Rhodey,
Nay.
Trustee Bell,
Yes.
Trustee Roberts,
Yes.
and Trustee Grabowski. So 4-1.
Sorry, guys.
It's all
It's all
right.
right. It's part of business.
Like I said, nothing personal,
Thank you, guys. I appreciate you coming to us.
Thank you.
100%. It's just not.
Thank you very much. Good luck.
Thank you.
It's a little bump, it's not a big thing.
Take care.
Item 8G, discussion and possible action on temporary Class B retailer's license.
Sure. To go along with the special events approved earlier, the Positively Pewaukee has submitted applications for temporary alcohol permits. So consistent with years past with most of them, so just looking for approval.
I'll make a motion to approve the temporary Class B retailers licenses as presented.
Second, Roy.
Motion and a second. Any other discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? You can sell beer now.
Was, you can get an opportunity for two wine license, or for two event wine license.
Yeah, she has one. There's two, yep.
Okay.
They did those.
Item 8H, possible action on monthly approval or recognition of checks and invoices for all funds from February 2024. Does anyone have any questions or issues with the list of checks that were presented to the board?
I'll make a motion to approve the checks and invoices.
Any other discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? You will need to acknowledge the checks related to the library fund. Any questions or comments, or do I have a motion?
Motion to acknowledge the library fund.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Motion and a second. Any other discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Approved. Item 9, citizen comments. Again, this is an opportunity for citizens to share their opinions with board members on any topic they choose. Due to Wisconsin open meeting laws, the board cannot answer any questions or respond to any comments. Comments should be directed to the board. Comments are limited to 3 minutes per speaker, and speakers are asked to use the podium to state their name and address. We'll start on this side again. Anyone on this side want to make any comments? Yes, sir. Anybody give us your name and address, please, just so
Yeah, my name is Richard Peterson. I'm a resident at 10097 Hawthorne Place, Apartment E. I want to commend you all for what you just did on the jet ski thing. My wife and I are among the very first, if not the first, kayakers on Pewaukee Lake. And we have had experience with boaters being reckless. And safety must be paramount. Mr. Grabowski, I go right along with exactly what you said. These young men, I commend them also for what they were trying to do. But this is not the place. The traffic on this lake sometimes is so heavy that we would not go out. And we had sea kayaks. I'm not talking recreational kayaks. I'm talking sea kayaks, 17 feet long. We would go out on Lake Superior, Michigan, the Apostle Islands, things like that, Pictured Rocks. And those kayaks can handle it. Well, like I said, we were the first, among the first. In fact, I posted the very first kayak access on Pewaukee Lake online to call attention to this lake and the wonderful opportunities. Again, I want to commend you for protecting the public, because although these young men are probably very, very responsible, they can't know what somebody is going to do outside of their sight. And this is a big lake. What is there, 18 miles of shoreline? 6 miles, I believe, from east to west, basically. I've kayaked that whole lake. You can't know, as a 36-year teacher, I know what youthful exuberance is. And you can't govern that. You can't make sure that they're going to be safe when they're outside of your sight. So again, I commend you for doing what you did. I think it was a responsible thing to do. Thank you. As a kayaker, I thank you.
Anyone else on this side? Great. How about this side? Anyone have any comments? Okay. No citizen comments. Item 10 is for adjournment. Motion to adjourn.
Second, Gergen.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?